Hello and welcome back. We had been discussing about the father of philosophy, Thales, and his take on water as arche. We continue our lecture series on the views of Thales on water as arche and how water has been a symbol of emotional fluidity. And we will also connect the views of the contemporary thinkers, how they take Thales today. This is Dr. Ananya Barua, Associate Professor in the Department of Philosophy, Hindu College. Now, to begin with, we will be addressing in this lecture about how emotional fluidity and water are interconnected, something which could have been in an implicit manner an assertion that Thales must have come up with when he had proclaimed that water is the arche. And when Thales had proclaimed that water is the arche, he suggests that everything in existence is inherently fluid and interconnected. Water is not static. It constantly flows, changes form, and adapts to its environment, which makes it an apt metaphor for the human emotional experience. Now, when we talk about the metaphor for the human emotional experience, we see that emotions are often characterized by their fluidity and changeability, much like water. Just as water can transit from a solid, say ice, to a liquid, water, to a gaseous state, vapor, human emotions shift in response to circumstances, thoughts, and experiences. Thales' idea that water is the essence of all things resonates with the idea that emotions are fundamental to the human experience. Our emotional states, whether joy, sorrow, anger, or peace, are transitory and ever changing, much like the state of water. And because they are transitory in nature, they are not permanent, they are temporary. So, recognizing this fluidity, one can foster a sense of acceptance and peace, understanding that emotions are natural and temporary. We also understand that there has been a very fine connect with the emotional release through water. Now, what is this emotional release through water? Water has long been associated with cleansing and purification, whether through tears, bathing, or immersion in natural bodies of water like the rivers, oceans, and so on. The physical act of contacting water, like washing one's face or taking a dip in a lake, can lead to a sense of emotional release. Tears, as a literal form of water, serve as a release of pent-up emotions. Crying can be understood as an emotional detox, a way for the body to process and let go of overwhelming feelings. Thales' idea of water being the source of life parallels the way water allows us to release emotions, restoring balance to the psyche. And this is yet another implicit feature of Thales' arche as water. Now, we also know that water is a life-giving and sustaining element. Just as water is essential for physical survival, it also plays a crucial role in emotional well-being by fostering a sense of nourishment, balance, and connection to the world. Now, what is this nourishing the mind and body? Hydration, we all understand, is directly linked to mental clarity and emotional stability. Dehydration, in contrast, can lead to irritability, mood swings, and difficulty in concentration. Thales' concept of water as the life-sustaining substance can be seen as a reflection of how essential water is to our mental and emotional health. Now, what about water in the environment? Whether it is the clear river, the ocean, or a calm pond, has long been associated with the restorative powers. Many people find that the time spent near water has a calming effect. The constant rhythm of waves, the sound of flowing water, or simply being near a serene lake can provide emotional healing and a sense of peace. So we see that water symbolizes purification vis-a-vis cleansing the mind, which can be seen as a metaphor for emotional healing. Just as water cleanses dirt from the body, it can represent the cleansing of negative thoughts, stress, and mental clutter. In some spiritual traditions, water rituals such as washing hands, faces, or bathing are symbolic acts of emotional and mental renewal, providing the mind with clarity and peace. This aligns with Thales' view of water as essential to the renewal of life. Now, let us talk about water and emotional balance, or something what we talk about as homeostasis. In the same way that Thales viewed water as the unifying force of nature, emotional balance in humans depends on the harmonious flow of emotions, just as water maintains balance in ecosystems and the human body. The idea of homeostasis, which is the body's need to maintain balance, can be applied to emotional health. Now, the human body's water content is not only crucial for physical functions, example circulation, digestion, but also for emotional equilibrium. When there is a lack of water, it can trigger stress responses, increase feelings of anxiety, and diminish emotional resilience. Thales might have seen the body's need for water as analogous to the emotional need for balance. Just as water regulates the body's temperature, fluidity, and function, emotional balance requires the ability to adapt to and flow with different emotions rather than being overwhelmed by them. Now, Thales also must have seen water as constantly adapting and transforming. This adaptability is a powerful metaphor for how we should approach our emotional experiences. Like water, emotions should not be resisted or suppressed. Instead, we can find balance by allowing ourselves to flow with our emotions, acknowledging them without judgment. Emotional resilience involves the ability to move through difficult emotions, just as water moves around obstacles or flows under bridges. Resisting emotions can cause stagnation and discomfort, while embracing them allows for a healthy emotional flow and ultimately healing. Now, water as a spiritual and therapeutic symbol again has been ancient, and we see that water has been an important symbol of spiritual healing across cultures. Thales' view of water as the arche aligns with many philosophical and spiritual traditions that recognize water's power to restore balance and promote inner peace. Now, many cultures associate water with spiritual purification and use it in rituals or therapeutic practices. The sound of water, whether from a stream or rain, is often used in meditation to calm the mind and create a sense of serenity. In modern psychology and therapy, water-themed environments such as water fountains or aquatic therapy are used to promote relaxation and mental clarity. Thales' belief that water is the origin of life can be extended to the idea that engaging with water can be a pathway to emotional and spiritual restoration. Now let us talk about the healing power of water bodies. Natural bodies of water, whether it is the ocean, lakes, rivers, are often seen as sources of healing energy. The act of immersing oneself in water can evoke a sense of emotional release, connectedness, and renewal. This idea mirrors Thales' belief that water is a source of life, not only in a physical sense, but also in its ability to restore balance and harmony in the human soul. Finally, when we talk about the symbolism of water and emotional freedom, we see that symbolism of water as uncontrollable yet essential for life resonates with the idea of emotional freedom. Just as water has the capacity to flow, change, and adapt, we too have the ability to embrace change and flow with our emotions. The lack of resistance to water is a powerful metaphor for emotional freedom. The freedom to feel, freedom to express, and release emotions without being weighed down by them. Now, what is Thales' water and emotional well-being connect? We see that Thales' concept of water as arche can be seen as more than just a material principle of the universe. It can also be a metaphor for emotional well-being. Water represents fluidity, transformation, and balance, all of which are essential for emotional health. The importance of water thus cannot be diminished at any cost, and Thales has been very right when he proclaimed that water is the arche. And we see that the importance of water in our lives, both physically and symbolically, aligns closely with the need for emotional resilience, balance, and adaptability. Just as water sustains life, it can also sustain our emotional well-being by helping us flow through our emotions, embrace change, and find clarity and peace. Thales' water, then, is not only a fundamental substance of the universe, but also a profound symbol for the importance of emotional health and the continuous flow of life. Now, we will also like to check here some original ideas attributed to Thales about water as the arche, along with their paraphrases or quotations. Now, there is this very famous quotation that states, quote, "Water is the principle, arche of all things," and this source is found in Aristotle's Metaphysics 1.3, and Aristotle mentions that Thales believed water to be the origin of everything and the fundamental substance that sustains life and forms the basis of all reality. When we paraphrase, we see that Thales argued that everything in the universe, whether living or non-living, is derived from a single substance, water, which he regarded as the essence or the fundamental principle that underlies of all existence. The second quotation within quote, "The world is full of gods and there is nothing that is without divine power." The source, this quotation comes from Diogenes Laertius, who gives various accounts of Thales' views on the divine nature of the world. Thales' belief that everything has a divine quality was an important part of his thinking, with water being the most essential divine substance. Now, when we paraphrase, we see that Thales suggested that everything in the universe, including water, is imbued with a divine power. His worldview indicated that all things are connected by a spiritual essence, and water plays a central role in that connection. Further, the other quote is, "Everything is full of gods." The source, again, another citation from Diogenes Laertius. Thales is quoted as stating that the divine pervades the world, a reflection of his belief in the spiritual significance of nature, especially water, as the source of all life and creation. When we paraphrase, we see that here with this quotation, Thales believed that the divine presence permeates all things in nature, suggesting that nature itself, including water, is sacred and holds intrinsic divine power. This indicates a worldview where everything in the natural world has a sacred aspect. The other quotation, quote, "The earth rests upon water." Now, this source, this is a claim attributed to Thales, which is found in Aristotle's Metaphysics 1.3, in the context of explaining Thales's cosmological views. Thales proposed that Earth floats on water, which is part of his idea that water is the basis of all things. Now, Thales suggested that the Earth floats upon water, implying that the very foundation of the universe is sustained by water. This view reflects the idea that water is not just a physical element, but a fundamental force that supports all existence. Yet the other quote, "The moon's light is reflected from the sun." This is sourced and this idea is commonly associated with Thales's scientific thought. Although it isn't directly related to water, it is often cited in discussions of his interest in astronomy and the natural world, as mentioned in Aristotle's On the Heavens 2.14. And let us not forget, moon, after all, has water. Now, when we paraphrase, we see that Thales is credited with the insight that the moon's light is not its own, but comes from the reflection of the sun's light. While this statement is more scientific than philosophical, it reflects his belief in the interconnectedness of nature and the flow of energy throughout the cosmos, which can be metaphorically linked to his views on water's omnipresence and life-giving role. So, we see that from these quotations of Thales's on water, directly or indirectly, whether cited by Aristotle or Diogenes Laertius, some of the very significant philosophical insights. 1. Water as the foundation of life. Thales proposed that water is the fundamental substance from which all things originate. He viewed water not only as a material element, but as the essential source of all existence. For him, life and all matter can be traced back to water as the primary force or arche that shapes the cosmos. 2. Interconnection and divinity. Thales believed that all things in the universe were interconnected through a divine principle, which he saw embodied in water. Water, in Thales's view, was not only physical but also represented the sacred force underlying the order and harmony of the world. 3. Cosmic harmony. Thales's thinking suggests that nature operates in a harmonious balance, with water serving as the unifying substance that enables this balance. From the Earth's floating on water to the life-giving properties of water, Thales envisioned a cosmos governed by this interconnected divine force. Now we see that the water balancing exercises or gentle movements done in water to enhance relaxation, coordination and body awareness is also very much in today. Many holistic practitioners combine the therapeutic benefits of buoyancy, warmth and resistance, often used in hydrotherapy, watsu, which is water shiatsu, or aqua yoga. And these, as I had just about mentioned, are the holistic wellness themes practiced by various wellness practitioners today. Let's talk in length about some of them. 1. Floating breath work. The purpose is that it calms the nervous system and encourages deep breathing. How is it done? One needs to lie on one's back in the water with flotation aids under one's head and knees if needed. Close your eyes and focus on slow, deep breaths. Feel your body rise and fall with the breath and water movement. Duration about 5 to 10 minutes, but this again ought to be done under expert guidance and not otherwise. The other very significant is mindful waking or walking, or what is called as water walking. Now, what is this water walking? Water walking's purpose, it improves balance and mindfulness. How is it done? They say one should stand in waist to chest deep water, walk slowly across the pool, focusing on your steps and how the water feels. Try walking backward or sidewards to engage different muscles. Again, about 5 minutes should be done under expert guidance. Aqua tree pose or modified balance pose. Their purpose again is it develops balance and concentration. How is it done? Stand in waist deep water. Lift one foot and place it gently on the inside of the opposite leg as in a tree pose. Use hands or pool wall for support if needed. Hold for 30 seconds. Switch sides. Again, under expert guidance only. Fourth is something which is called as water arm swirls. The purpose is it relieves shoulder tension and encourages fluid movement. How to do it? Stand in a shoulder deep water. Slowly move your arms in circular motions at the surface. Alternate directions. Vary the size of the circles. Focus on smooth, continuous flow. Duration 2 to 3 minutes. And again, under the vigilance of expert eyes. Watsu Krezel, or something which is extremely popular nowadays. The purpose is a deep relaxation and trust building. How to do it? One person cradles the other in the water, supporting head and knees. Gently rocks and moves them in slow flowing patterns. Keeps communication open and movement smooth. 10 to 15 minutes under vigilant eyes. There's this yet other very pertinent one which is called as the Aqua Tai Chi flow, where the purpose is it promotes balance, energy flow and inner calmness. How is it done? Practice slow Tai Chi like movements in chest deep water. Focus on breath, posture and flowing transitions. Use movements like wave hands, cloud hands and single sweep. Duration 10 minutes under vigilant eyes. Underwater hug or self-hold stretch. This purpose is that it encourages self-soothing and release. How is it done? In chest deep water, gently hug your knees to your chest while floating or crouching. Rock slightly side to side. Breathe deeply and slowly. Duration 2 to 4 minutes. Again, under expert guidance. Now, these 5 to 7 techniques have been followed by the wellness holistic practitioners today, and this makes us believe all the more why Thales has been one of the most prominent philosophers, and rightly so, the father of philosophy. For with water as the RK, we see the extensions of these techniques in these various forms. In our next lecture, we would be continuing more about Thales and how he had been radically ahead of his time. Thank you so much.